So the easiest, I would bet my car on this one. Bills win it. Dominant quarterback, not close and well coached. Patriots, I've said this, they will be the Washington of the NFL. I predicted Washington and Denver would be the most improved teams. I'm predicting the Patriots will be the most improved team. Drake May actually has a coach, and they've made major upgrades, O and D line. Dolphins aren't good. They're going backwards, but I'll take them over the Jets where I don't like anything. All right, next up, the AFC North. Even if Aaron Rodgers shows up, they're not beating the Ravens or Bengals. Browns, I think, are looking for a quarterback, Arch Manning, in next year's draft. I like their GM, Andrew Berry, and Kevin Stefanski. Don't like ownership. I feel pretty good about this. AFC South, I'm going to make a change. I think the Texans win it going away, and the Titans are a wild card team. I will take the Jaguars third, and I'll move the Colts down to fourth. I don't know who's playing quarterback for the Colts. My guess is Daniel Jones wins eventually. But the Jaguars, to their credit, got the best player in the draft in Travis Hunter. He will make an impact. They upgraded their offensive line significantly. So, again, it's not much, but I'll take the Jaguars third and the Colts fourth. And in the AFC West, I feel the same way. It's inches, not feet. I think the Chargers empowered their run game, and they're going to be a ball control offense with two great tackles, a great coach, a great quarterback, and two excellent running backs. They also upgraded at tight end. I think they're going to be not as much sizzle as you may want, but they're just going to ground teams. It'll be classic Jim Harbaugh in year two. You will be looking at a team that is completely different than they were 2 years ago. Chiefs still win 10-11, maybe 12, but they finished second, Broncos and Raiders. Didn't love the Broncos draft. So my AFC playoff predictions, Bills, Ravens, Texans, Chargers, Patriots, Bengals are new, and Chiefs.
Okay. Let's talk about this. I'm going to make other separate videos to do each division separately because I find each division worth talking about, quite frankly. But yeah, it's just interesting to see here. We can see the Broncos missing the playoffs, the Chargers winning the division, the Bengals wild card, Ravens still winning, the Chiefs the wild card. It's it's definitely interesting. The truth is, I feel like once we kind of start to really look at some of these teams, the Bills, the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Bengals, the Broncos, etc., like trying to figure out how this is all going to unfold in May. I mean, that's, it's a tough one. It is. It's a tough one. And I appreciate, and I was thinking about this. I think about this a lot, actually. Like, I'm so grateful that people like these shows exist, like Colin and First Things First and all of that, because the way how my mind works is I'm like, well, there's no point in talking about this because we're so far out. But at the same time, I love football. I love the NFL. I love talking sports. And so you need these types of conversations, right? You just do. We all want to just find ways to kind of keep talking and keep living in this NFL bubble, right? And it helps my world go around. And so you need to have these types of predictions. But at the same time, it's like, I got to see these teams play, right? And I'm grateful that someone like Colin and any of these other shows don't just say that again and again, because then it's just like, what else, well, then there's nothing to say. But I still look at this and I'm like, okay, well, what can I say about this? And I say, well, of course I think the Bills are going to be a great team. Of course I think that the Ravens are going to be a great team. And I think the Chiefs and the Bengals and the Chargers, like, they're all going to be great teams. Again, all to varying degrees. How great, how special, I don't know. And neither do you. Like, that's the thing, right? And so even if we look at the predictions for these divisions, like, this is obviously the boldest claim right here, that the Chargers will beat the Chiefs, and that the Broncos are going to go backwards and not make the playoffs, but the Patriots will. Okay, right? And then if we go back to here, this is hardly a bold claim considering what the Texans have done over these last few years with CJ Stroud, etc., etc. You can think that the Titans are going to be better. Rookie quarterback, that's a tough one. Jaguars, to me, are a big question mark, because you're going to say that they improved with coaching, improved with O-line, improved in the draft, and say what you will about the quarterback. If you improve the O-line and improve the offensive head coach, well, then the quarterback should improve as well. So then that's going to be a pretty big question mark of like, well, how much do they improve? Like, I think it's fair to say that the Jaguars could be 2 or potentially even win the division, depending if the Texans kind of continue to backslide. You know, they don't necessarily seem that they're trending upwards, but we're about to, you know, not about to, but we will find out. It's not hard to say that the Colts are at the bottom. Same thing now with this division. It's like, okay, we know the Browns are 4. The Steelers, right, even with Aaron Rodgers, they're not beating Joe Burrow and the Bengals, and they're not beating the Baltimore Ravens. And considering who the Baltimore Ravens have been, it's pretty easy to say, well, now the Ravens are 1 and the Bengals are 2, right? Pretty straightforward stuff here. And then, right, here we are, the Bills. I don't think the Patriots are going to now, you know, past the Bills right now. I just don't see that happening. And then once we kind of, in this division especially, it's just like, you know, who cares the order of the Dolphins and the Jets, right? Like it doesn't really matter. And the Dolphins seem to be in trouble. Apparently Tyreek Hill doesn't want to be there. You know, he really wants out. Jalen Ramsey, you know, like they're not necessarily trending upwards either. I don't think the Jets are trending upwards. I think the Patriots and the Bills are. And I still think the Bills, you have Josh Allen as your quarterback, right? That alone is going to be good enough for you to get the number 1 seed over the Patriots right now. So, you know, none of this is necessarily earth shattering. But yeah, it is somewhat jarring to just look at this, like, to look at the divisional winners and the wild cards and just like see it, because it gets reduced to such kind of like, well, the Chiefs are only the wild card and the Bengals are going to sneak into the wild card and the Patriots and no Broncos. And when reality, I think probably this year, especially more so than in years past, it really is going to be inches. It really is going to just be a dogfight for the Chargers, Chiefs, and, you know, Broncos, and maybe even Raiders, quite frankly. And right, maybe the Ravens and the Bengals, it's going to be similar potentially like as what we saw with the Lions and the Vikings last year, where it's like you win this game, you're the number 1 seed. You lose this game, you're dropping down to the 5 seed. Like, it's just going to be, I think it's going to all be so close. And maybe the Broncos are neck and neck with the Patriots to be in the wild card, or they're neck and neck with the Chiefs to be in the wild card. Like, I think it's just, I think it's going to all be so close. It really is. And we're going to look back and be like, oh my God, that week 4 loss was devastating. How did you lose that game against the Panthers? If you didn't lose that game, you're in the driver's seat to be in the playoffs. But because you fumbled the ball on the goal line, now we're not. Like, it's going to be like the definition of those types of games. And it's going to make a lot of these games like really matter, which I can't wait, you know, because it is going to make some of those like easy games that you're kind of like half watching or whatever. Like, now you're like, no, this is important. You better make that field goal and go up by 10. Like, it's got to be a 2-score game here. We cannot drop this game. Like, it feels like any of the games are just, the margin of error is going to be so small. Like, that when I see a map, you know, like a graphic like this and an outline like this, like, that's where my mind goes to. If you're putting the Chiefs and the Bengals in the wild card, the Patriots in the wild card, having the Broncos miss the playoffs, the Chargers win the division, right? Having the Ravens still win the division over the Bengals, I'm just like, this is inches. This is millimeters. So that's why it's like, that is what I firmly believe, which is why, like, there can't be any more commentary beyond that in May. You know, because like, I got to see these games unfold. I got to see what the Bills look like against a bad team, a great team. What the Ravens look like against the Browns. Are you going to drop a stupid game against the Browns again? Are you going to do that? You know, who knows? Are you going to lose to a team equivalent to the Raiders, who the Raiders were last year? You know, what's going on? Chargers, are you going to beat the Chiefs? You know, when you're at home, are you going to take care of business and actually beat them? Or are you going to be like shocked that you somehow lost? Right? Like, that's like, it's just, we got to see the games. So, I don't know. It's, yeah, I don't know. It's just where my mind goes when I see something like this. I'm curious what you guys all think about predictions. Because again, right, we're making playoff predictions in May, in literally May. And again, I appreciate it. I respect it. I'm grateful for it. Because it's, in my mind, I'm not like, who's going to make the playoffs this season? Like, it's just not where my mind's at. But I still want to talk about the NFL. I still want to talk about sports. I still want to watch these shows. So I'm grateful for this energy, even if my mind struggles to necessarily like really deeply evaluate it, which is why Colin probably ripped through these too, right? He went through the whole conference in like 45 seconds because there's only so much to say about it, you know? So I see it more as like a jumping off point for a conversation and for us to kind of all get lost in the comments and, you know, fight over Probably, I assume the Chiefs fans are going to be just coming out of their Super Bowl loss to be like, the Chargers, the Chargers, the Chargers. So, I look forward to that, which is why, again, I'm definitely going to make separate videos for each division to kind of talk about them, and even some of them just the teams themselves. Like, I'm going to make a separate Broncos video because I find it interesting, a separate Chiefs video, a separate Chargers video. Like, I'm going to make a lot of separate videos, just because. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Colin's AFC playoff prediction? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're all on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.